What if the next big energy breakthrough didn't come from one giant invention, but from 5 very different ideas, all quietly solving the same problem in their own way? Because renewable energy isn't just about producing clean power anymore. It's about making that power cheaper, easier to store, more reliable, and actually useful everywhere, from crowded cities to remote villages. So in this video, let's look at 5 renewable energy innovations that could genuinely change the world, not because they sound futuristic, but because they solve real-world problems. First, advanced solar panels. Traditional solar is already impressive, but newer technologies like perovskite solar cells could make panels far more efficient and cheaper to produce. Why is that important? Because today's solar panels are limited by how much sunlight they can convert into electricity. Better materials can capture more of the light spectrum, which means more power from the same roof, same field, or same window surface. That could make solar more practical for apartment buildings, factories, and even vehicles. Imagine a warehouse roof generating enough power to offset a huge share of its electricity bill, or thin, flexible panels being installed where normal panels would be too heavy or expensive. Second, long-duration energy storage. This is one of the biggest missing pieces in renewable energy. Solar and wind are great until the sun sets or the wind drops. New storage systems like iron-air batteries, thermal storage, and flow batteries are designed to store energy for hours or even days, not just minutes. The mechanism matters here. Instead of trying to dump excess power back into the grid immediately, these systems hold it and release it later when demand spikes. That makes renewable power much more dependable. In practical terms, this could mean neighborhoods running on solar at night, hospitals keeping backup power without diesel generators, or grid operators avoiding blackouts during extreme weather. Third, floating offshore wind turbines. Regular offshore wind works well in shallow water, but floating turbines unlock deeper oceans, where winds are often stronger and more consistent. The key innovation is the floating platform anchored to the seabed, allowing turbines to be placed far from shore. That expands the number of locations where wind energy can be harvested. Why does this matter? Because stronger, steadier wind means more electricity production. For coastal countries with limited land, this could be a game changer. A real example: instead of taking up farmland or competing with city infrastructure, floating wind farms can sit offshore and feed power into the grid with minimal land use. Fourth, green hydrogen. This is made by using renewable electricity to split water into hydrogen and oxygen through electrolysis. That sounds simple, but the usefulness is huge. Hydrogen is one of the few ways to store energy in a chemical form, which makes it valuable for industries that are hard to electrify directly, like steel, shipping, and fertilizer production. So instead of burning fossil fuels to heat massive industrial furnaces, factories could use hydrogen produced from wind or solar power. It's not the answer for everything, but for heavy industry, it could cut emissions where batteries alone struggle. And fifth, vehicle-to-grid or V2G technology. This turns electric cars into part of the energy system. Here's how it works. When thousands of EVs are plugged in, their batteries can store electricity during low-demand hours and send some of it back to the grid when demand rises. That makes EVs more than transportation. They become mobile energy storage units. Imagine a city full of parked electric buses helping stabilize the grid at night, or homeowners using their EV battery to power essential appliances during an outage. None of these innovations alone will solve the energy problem, but together, they point to a future where clean energy is not just possible, it's flexible, scalable, and built into everyday life. And that's what makes this moment so interesting. The future of renewable energy isn't one technology replacing another. It's a whole ecosystem of breakthroughs making each other more powerful. 5 renewable energy innovations that could change the world is just one small part of renewable energy tech: solar, wind, storage. If you are interested, our full free renewable energy tech, solar, wind, storage course is linked in the description.